Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about underrated legendary champions in this game. The champions I'm going to talk about in this video, I think they're at least about average or above average, but people think they're bad and people never use them. So I'm gonna walk through them in this video because I just made a video talking about overrated legendary. That was an interesting one. So I decided to make a video about underrated legendary champions in this game as well. So, alright. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Alright, similar to the previous video, let's walk through all the underrated legendaries by faction. So, the first one we have Bannerlord. Is there any underrated legendary here? I think there is. The first one is Lord Shamford, the first on the index, right? I think this is a great champion, to be honest. He received a lot of changes over the years and some buffs. I think he is actually one of the best for the Hydra. Like, all his debuffs are really usable in Hydra. Decreased defense on the A1, decreased accuracy and decreased attack on the A2. Alright, 3 turns cooldown guaranteed, and this skill hits really hard. And the passive is 1 turn's cooldown, plays a shield on himself, 20% HP is a lot, and always plays a decreased speed on the attacker. Like, this is a small version of decreased speed. I really hope this is a big version, but like, this champion is not that bad, to be honest. Like, and his base stats is good. HP based champion, super good in Hydra. If you don't have Krisk, give this champion a try. You will be surprised. Alright, that's the first one on my list. The second one is also in Bannerlord. That is really underrated legendary champion. That is Black Knight. I think this champion is really good. Like, the first time I started to notice this champion is like really long time ago, back in 2020. I think 6-9 Boomer made an arena defense consisting Black Knight, and I think that defense was really good. Like, this is continuous heal and increased defense buff on all allies. This is a 2 turns cooldown. This is a force affinity champion. That's why this is a good affinity for arena defense. Very good defensive stats. HP and defense are really good. 100 speed is not bad, and his passive is putting it unkillable on himself if the damage exceeds 15% of max HP with a 2 turns cooldown. 2 turns cooldown is very short. If you pair this champion with a healer, this could proc multiple times. And like, the bad thing about this champion is his A3 actually has no damage. So like, this skill looks fancy, attack all enemy, damage increase according to the amount of HP this champion has lost, but like, I test this champion at 1 HP, 1% HP, this skill doesn't really do damage, so this one is really a shame. But A1 and A2 and passive is really good. Like, this champion deserve more than this rating, right? At least Faction Wars is 4.8. Like, I think this champion is definitely a 5 out of 5 for arena. So next, is there any other underrated champion here? Yes, there is. The next one, it could be controversial. I think Baron. This is probably one of the worst void legendary champion in this in the entire game. But I see like Boomer has been used this champion for like a month or 2 now, and I think in his arena push, Platinum Arena push video, he only used Baron. Alright, only used Baron, and yeah, this champion is a little bit RNG involved. If you are able to get the passive skill to proc, the secret skill to proc, you're going to one-shot the entire enemy team without question. This is the hardest hitting, raw damage dealing AoE ability in the entire game, but this is a hidden skill. That's why like, it's a little bit difficult, and if you want to use the champion, you also have to use a Necro to protect him. Otherwise, he's gonna get one shot. So this champion is a little bit niche, but I think if you happen to have like a Necro and other top tier champion, give this champion a try. There are some interesting strategy around this champion, right? Paired with ally attack, for example, you have chance to unlock the secret skill. Like, all you have to do about this champion is to get the secret skill to be unlocked, and you will just boom, one shot the enemy team. Alright, so yeah, I think this is people can give this champion a try. Even though he's not gonna be top tier, I think he's at most an average legendary champion, but he can be a really fun champion. Alright, so next one, let's move to High Elf. I think all these champions are really good, but I would say like the one that is really underrated is Bannerlord. I think a lot of people I see like during a lot of other content creators shard pull videos, if they got a Bannerlord, they're very upset. That so yeah, I think that happens to a lot of raid players. If you guys pull a Bannerlord, I bet you're gonna be very upset, right? But actually, I think if you just got your first Bannerlord on your account, it might not be that bad, to be honest. I think this champion here is the best damage dealer for Bat Eater clan boss, unkillable clan boss comp. I think this one is better than Dracomorph. I've been used Bannerlord for a very long time on a Bat Eater team. Way before, like maybe early 2021. The reason I start to give this champion a try is I could not one key the Force Affinity clan boss with Dracomorph on a Bat Eater team. Then I start to give this champion a try. The good thing about this champion is if you bring him to your team, you can put him on your lead. That's 24% extra crit, and his A1 is 30% extra crit. So technically, everyone else on your team, you only have to build 50% crit rate, and you can throw all other champions with a poison set. So the clan boss are going to have a lot of poisons, and 50% crit rate, you can push really high crit damage. So like, I could do like 100 million damage in Ultra Nightmare clan boss with Bannerlord. So even though I would say like duplicates Bannerlord might not be that helpful for sure, but like if you got your first Bannerlord, it might not be that bad, seriously. So that's about it for the High Elves. Let's move on to Sacred Orders. Is there any hidden gems here? Yes, I want to talk about my boy here, Constantine. Alright, I made a video about this champion really long time ago, probably half year ago. I read the comment section. The comment section is actually very mixed. A lot of people think this is actually a great champion, to be honest. And another, well, then a lot of people think that I was just joking. Like, they don't believe it. They think this champion is still trash. Even though I showcased this champion, people are saying that he's good because I put very good gear on him, and he's not good because he only has one AoE ability, stuff like that. But to be honest, in my personal opinion, this champion does not deserve a rating like this. At least, I'm not gonna say he's the best damage dealer in the entire game, but he definitely does not deserve this. I think in arena offense, this is definitely a 5 out of 5. Void Affinity champion, not gonna have weak hit, and this AoE skill, I think this is probably the top 3 hardest hitting raw damage AoE skill in the entire game. Consider the ignore defense here. Like, one way to use the champion is if you pair it with a Chimera, there's a mastery that if you put like the crowd control on enemy champion like stun sleep, there is a high chance to put leech. That's how you get leech on the enemy champion. So decreased defense, very common. For the block active skills, you can use champion like a Ramantu or any other champion. Like, these conditions are not very hard, and it's gonna give you like probably 20% up to 30% ignore defense, and it hits 2 times. Hits really hard. So like, I think this champion is really good, and he's in my faction war team, right? So I like this champion a lot, but I understand a lot of people are very upset about this champion. But if you got this champion, I highly recommend you to give this champion a try. Alright, especially if you don't have a champion like Tronda. If you're looking for a good AoE damage dealer, give this champion a try. It's really not that bad. Alright, let's move on to the next. Barbarians. Is there any underrated champions here? Alright, I want to talk about this one here, Elder Skark. Nobody really talks about this champion. It's kind of like a forgotten champion. Alright, I don't see any other content creator make a video about this champion, and I basically don't see any raid player talks about this champion, you know. So like, this is like a forgotten champion, but I think this champion is not that bad. Like, he has its place in in the game, not just arena. Like, this is always gonna place increased speed on himself, right? And this is like this is one of the hardest hitting single target ability. This is attack one enemy 3 times and place an extra hit, and you can place up to 3 extra hits, so 6 hits. If you're able to land 6 hits from this skill, this is like the top 3 hardest hitting single target ability in the entire game. And the A3 here, a lot of buffs and a lot of debuffs, and this he can do a fear debuff that cannot be resisted. Alright, he can also place a provoke on the legendary champion, but that will require accuracy. So I think that, like, I'm not saying this champion is top tier, but at least he should not be like a forgotten champion, alright, by the community. He is like really above average, to be honest. Alright, so next let's move on to All Green Tribe. I think the ones that are really underrated here is first is Gerbtug. Like, when he was first introduced to the game, he was terrible, I think. Then he received a buff, but I think after the buff, the review is already done. There are too many bad reviews. Like, unless they get rid of all the bad reviews, it's really hard to see the review go up. So like, back then when we don't have Spider 25, when we only have Spider 20, this champ is super popular. Pairing with the enemy max HP champion because of this passive. Alright, right now, like, the place you can use this champion is Arena. This is block buffs, and even though he's force affinity, but this skill is not a hit, so the enemy cannot resist this. So block buffs and give your team some damage boost. Another place you can use this champion is Hydra. Let me show you guys my clan's hard Hydra team setup. Alright, you might not believe it, but this is what the hard Hydra team looks like. Look at this. Tronus and Gerbtug. Pretty much every team has a Gerbtug. Look at this. Alright, so like, this champion is really good. Like, definitely, like, if you pull this champion, if you pull Gerbtug, your first Gerbtug, don't look at these reviews. This champion is usable, even super endgame. Alright, the next one here is probably Shamrock. This is kind of like another forgotten champion in this game, I would say. He received a buff long time ago, but I think the buff was not able to change people's impression about this champion. Like, this review is not quite right. Like, at least this is a 5 out of 5 champion for Faction Wars. Look at his skill kit. This is a perfect support champion. Like, look at all these buffs, right? 3 turns cooldown and 4 turns cooldown with a decreased speed on all enemy and decreased turn meter. This is not a hit, so if you have enough accuracy, this is not gonna weak hit or anything. And people are using this champion to 1-key Nightmare Hydra. This is a really underrated and forgotten champion. So if you got this champion, get him out of your vault and max him out. I think this champion, like, if you want to use this champion in Faction Wars or Hydra, he's worth the resources and the books. Alright, so next, let's move on to Lizardman. Is there any underrated? Alright, let me talk about this champion here. Vargal, Scholar Vargal, in Fusion long time ago. I think it was during the April Fools 2020, very long time ago. And he received a couple buffs over the past years. Right now, I think this champion is really not that bad. Crazy base stats. Try this champion in Hydra and Faction Wars. There is a cheese strategy with Scholar Vargal and Skullworm here. So yeah, I think this champion is really not that bad. Alright. This skill is kinda mad, right? Strengthen on himself and provoke on one enemy. This is kinda silly, but the rest of his kit is good, to be honest. AUI is really good and passive. You can use the champion to solo the Scarab King, etc. Alright, let's move on to the next Skinwalker. Is there any underrated champion? Alright, this champion might not be underrated at the moment, but I decided to mention him anyways, mention her. Alright, because Cleotrax, I think she just got a buff very recently. I made a video about this champion. I call this champion the strongest spirit damage dealer in the entire game. I think that's correct. She is the strongest spirit nuker in the entire game, and she is free. She is really good. Like, these ratings are before the buff. Before Plaren buffed this champion, like a month ago, she was terrible. But after the buff, I think she really started to shine. Really good spirit nuker, right? And you only have to gear 70% crit rate on this champion because she can do an increased crit rate on herself. Yeah, that's another good thing about this champion. So alright, I think that's about it for the Skinwalker faction. Let's move on to the orcs. Is there any underrated legendaries here? Let's see. Like, our TR is garbage. I just had to mention this champion again. Like, I think player buffed this champion, but she's still garbage. So I think Nordgar is a really underrated legendaries. I made a video about Nordgar early 2020, I think. When I first got this champion, I said this champion is not that bad. And Boomer literally roasted me on his stream, and I watched his stream. He did not know I watched his stream, and I heard he said that I made a video pretending this champion to be good. I made this champion look good to bait people. That's what he said. But this champion is really good. Like, I'm not saying this champion is top tier or god tier. This is really above average champion, to be honest. Like, I've seen other content creator made a video about Nordgar in year 2021, where I literally made a video about Nordgar in year 2020, right? And a year later, people start to realize that this champion is not that bad. Like, he has a decent multiplier, and he can revive himself with a 1 turn's cooldown. Like, gear this champion in a frenzy set. This is like he's like a machine that never stops, to be honest. Check out some Nordgar videos from my channel or other content creators, doesn't matter. Like, this champion is really fun and really good. Alright, so let's move on to Demonspawn. Is there any underrated champion here? Like, all these champions are really high quality. I don't have Sissia and Lord Shazar. I think probably one of the champions that I think is underrated is Mortal Macab. I see a lot of content creators put Mortal Macab really low on their tier list. A lot of content creators, they have their own tier list. I see Mortal Macab is really low on the list, but this champion I think is really good in arena. Even though, like, top 20, let's talk about top 20 Platinum Arena, he is viable. Especially after Stone Skin was introduced to the game. If you put this champion in Stone Skin, he is super annoying. He can take a lot of hits to unlock his passive, 20% chance to unlock secret skill, and this 20% counts as each individual hits. So for example, Trina's A3 is 2 hits, so that's 40% chance to unlock the secret skill. If you put this champion in Stone Skin set, it's crazy annoying, and if you put him on auto, his passive skill is always going to target the enemy with the lowest max HP. Super annoying, alright? And I used to put like one-man defense, one-man Stone Skin, Mortal Macab defense on Gold 5, and people attack me and just lose, and just give me like 200 free points every day. So you guys can give that a try, putting Mortal Macab in a Stone Skin set, right? And just put a one-man defense to bait people to attack you. Alright, so next let's move on to Undead Horde. Is there any underrated champion here? I think all these champions are very decent. Maybe one of the forgotten champions is Crypt King Growl. His review is not so good, but I think this champion, like, it's already very popular in spiders. But if you guys don't know, this champion can solo Spider 25. I only see people in my clan doing this. I'm not sure if there's a video on YouTube showcasing this champion soloing Spider 25, alright? Obviously, there are a lot of strategy with Crypt King Growl building a Spider team. Let me just double check. So I see people on my clan building a Crypt King Growl in a regeneration set with high resistance, and this champion can solo Spider 25. So yeah, that's one thing to know, I guess. If you got decent gear and you want to try solo Spider 25, use the champion. Alright, I think maybe he's the only one in the game that can do that because of this freeze here. Like, he can free the Spiderling, so Spiderling are not going to attack him, right? And I know, like, Tyrant used to be a very popular option to solo spiders, but like, he cannot crowd control the Spiderlings, and the spiderlings from stage 25, that's too much damage. He can't take it. So I think the only champion in the game that can solo spider 25 is Creeping Growl. So yeah, that's about it for the Undead Horde. Let's see the Dark Elves. Is there any underrated legendary here? Alright, I think that's Astrolith. Alright, the review are very old. Well, I'm not sure if she's underrated or not. It could be a controversial one because even though I use this champion, I build 2 Astrolith, and I see a lot of other people use Astrolith on their offense team, but I feel like Astrolith, it's pretty much platinum people only. I really don't see any gold 4 or gold 5 players that use Astrolith, so I'm not sure about this one, but at least I'm gonna let you guys know that this champion is super popular in Platinum Arena. A lot of people are using this champion. This bump that cannot be resisted, 2 bumps detonates after 2 turns, and you know what? If you pair Vizier with this champion, you don't have to build Vizier with accuracy. I don't know if this is a secret. Basically, Vizier, if this debuff already cannot be resisted, then if you use a debuff spread champion, then it's guaranteed spread. You do not need to build accuracy on debuff spread champion. I'm not sure if this is a secret, alright? So let's move on to the next one, Night Rev. Is there any underrated champion here? Okay, so I'm gonna mention this champion. This is the first ever Doom Tower Fragment summons. And I think she does not deserve this type of rating. I think people do this because most people are angry that this champion is not that good. Alright, this skill hits super hard. Alright, so I think the reason that she got this type of review is she's the first champion in the entire game that can do Hex. So her A1 can do Hex, and there at the moment when people first started getting this champion, there were no other champion that can do Hex. Alright, imagine that. She is the only champion that can do Hex, and her damage from her A2 heavily rely on the Hex. So that's why like her review was shit, because you're not gonna see her damage potential. No other champion in the entire game can do Hex. But right now situation changed, right? There are too many Hex champions in the game, like Rule the Houndmaster, Mithrala champion like that. Now we are seeing Hex champion, and if you're able to put some Hex debuff on the enemies, this is the hardest hitting ability, AoE ability in the entire game. This could hit harder than the enemy max HP skill. Seriously, super hard, like stack up to 300%. Alright, so yeah, I think she's underrated. She's at least a 4 out of 5, at least maybe a 4.5 out of 5. So let's move on to the next. Is there any champion in the Dwarf faction that I think is underrated? I think Dwarf, like, this faction has the highest quality legendaries. Like pretty much all of them are at least above average. There are no trash legendaries in this faction. So I think this faction is fine. Let's move on to Shadow King. Is there any legendary here that is super underrated? I think Yoshi is pretty underrated. Alright, I think if I remember correct, he is the first ever Fragment summon. Am I wrong? I don't know. At least, alright, so maybe I'm wrong. I think he's the first ever Shadow King fusion champion, right? And he really doesn't get a good review. I'm not sure why, because like I remember at the moment, well, before I even got this champion, like based on just reading his skills, I think his skill is good. I'm not sure like why people are not really giving this champion a good review. Like A1 is a stun, 40%, it's okay. A2 is a HP burn, it's A2 is 3 whatever, but A3 increase attack, increase accuracy in a 3 turns cooldown, and then 75% chance on true fear on all enemy. Alright, I think like this skill is unique. There are no other champions in this game that can do this. Increase attack, increase accuracy. He is super popular in Platinum Arena, right? Yeah, it could be a little bit controversial because I'm speaking as a Platinum Arena player that plays Arena, enjoy Arena. He's just super popular. Like let me show you guys my defense log. I think I saw a couple Yoshis. Like this champion is look at this. Even though I got a lot of wins, right? But at least just showing you guys, this champion is used by a lot of top tier arena players. Sorry, top level, I mean. Yeah, Yoshi, very underrated. I think at least the arena offense and faction wars, he is a 5 out of 5. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Is there any other underrated champions? Probably not. I think that's about it. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Did I miss any champion that you think is underrated? The champion I mentioned in this video, they're not like crazy good. It's just I don't want people to forget about the hidden gems in this game. So if you guys get some other opinions about the champions I did not mention, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.